In the light of early morning, we watch boat after boat arrive in the small port of Skyla Sycaminos in the north of Lesbos. Women and children came first, transferred from an EU border vessel too big to dock here. These Afghans had been rescued from a small dinghy making the crossing from Turkey to Greece, and their relief is obvious to see. But in the days to come, they may question whether it was all worth it. That night we joined the Greek coastguard on patrol. The governor of the North Aegean Islands, which include Lesbos, on board. He wanted to see the work being done to safeguard the lives of migrants and asylum seekers heading to Greece. It's in this area, the borderline between Turkey and Greece, that the vessel will spend the night searching. Just 5.5 miles separate the two nations, Turkey to the left, Greece to the right. But out here in the dead of night, you get a real sense of the risks people are taking. And the governor knows the reality that awaits those who make it to his island. Months, possibly years in grim camps, living in conditions he finds impossible to accept.
It's awful. I really feel ashamed as a European, as a Greek, as a habitant of this island. I feel ashamed for these people. They are poor people, they are people who traveled a lot, walked a lot. They crossed the continents here. They paid a lot of money to Turks to be carried here, and they live this life.
He has seen the reality for himself. He visited the notorious Moria camp last weekend after a fatal fire triggered protests. Many living here describe it as hell, a warren of tents and living containers with raw sewage flowing freely. 13,000 people are now living in space intended for just 3,000, and amongst them, the young. Aid agencies say 40% of the population here are children.
So this is all the pediatric component, so this is the waiting area.
Outside the camp, workers from the MSF medical charity cannot cope with the number of children needing to see them. Parents press against the gates as doctors and nurses treat not just physical problems, but increasingly mental health issues. Many children scarred by war, then by the months-long journey to get here, are further traumatized by Moria.
You have small kids that they stop eating, they don't sleep. They have tendency to self-mutilation, they have attempted suicide. This is horrible to see children with this kind of condition, and their parents, they are sharing with us their feeling of guilt. They feel guilty to have brought their kids to this place.
MSF is demanding children and the vulnerable be transferred to mainland Greece, but progress is slow and has left many questioning their choice to come here. Like others, Syed Ali spent thousands getting here from Afghanistan. He's not sure it was the right decision.
In here is not a better life. In Afghanistan, we haven't security. In here is too, not security.
Do you wish you'd stayed in Afghanistan?
Maybe.
It's a question we heard many asking here, and some claim the Greek government is using the grim conditions as a deterrent. For now, though, the migrants still come in hope and only believe the reality when they see it. Michelle Clifford, Sky News, Lesbos, Greece.